I feel like it's a natural extension to go deeper, submerge myself more in the products that I use. It doesn't come off a truck.
What is so amazing is we don't know what the menu is until like they've spent time in the garden.
Like the deeper understanding and the appreciation and connection with the produce that I use has been very meaningful to me. When the heirloom tomatoes becomes ripe sometime in the end of June, and we leave it hanging on the plant until it's ripe and it's ready, and it's warm from the sun in the morning and it's still warm, and that's actually how we serve it. A couple of drops of olive oil and a little bit of salt. I never knew. I've served tomatoes my whole life. Blew my mind first when I started realizing what we're actually doing. Like when the fruit is at its peak, and you get to put it on a plate and set it in front of someone. It's no better feeling. That's 100%.
Harvest a little something. Maybe it's enough to make 5 salads, but then we'll make 5 salads that night. Mari, why did you decide to do this podcast?
Now I'm getting interviewed.
Now you're getting
Interviewed because I love food. I'm thinking about the food 24/7 non-stop. I'm not kidding.
You're a foodie?
I don't like the word foodie. Because
Thank you.
Same.
Thank you. It's just I love food, and then I respect food so, And the thing why I wanted to start this podcast with you guys, because every time you put the food in front of me, I'm really ready. Try not to cry.
No.
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It's just such an emotional moment. It's so hard to feel this feeling in a restaurant most of the time. And somehow it reminded me my mom's cooking too. It's of course it's a restaurant food, home cooking is a completely different thing. There's something about it. It just grabbed like a deep part of my heart.
Wow.
I know. That's why I become such a...
I'm getting
It's an honor.
tearing up a little bit.
It's an honor. That's a mission accomplished, I guess.
Oh my God, look, I'm crying.
Yeah. It was shocking experience.
Well, it's a nurturing, mission. I was going to say nurture is real, and then when people respond to that, that's mission accomplished. Don't you say? Don't you think?
Yeah. What was your life growing up around food?
Oh, I grew up in south part of Japan. Now I'm getting interviewed. That's
I'm just super curious. Yeah, no, it helps us it's exciting.
Exciting! Yeah. Yay! This is my first podcast.
We're number one?
Yeah, you're the number one.
We're the guinea pigs.
Top of the
Yeah,
list.
you're the guinea pigs. Yes.
Nice.
So I grew up in south part of Japan, famous for fish, because they're like a small island, and then the fish goes through those a very hard, the sea stream. I don't know, so that the fish gets very strong and tight in the cold water. So the fish is just stunning.
Yeah.
So I grew up eating a fresh fish. Of course, we also have mountains, great the farms. So I grew up in wonderful food culture.
But rural or city?
It's close to city.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was born in a very rural area, but I grew up in a kind of more city area. And then when I was 6, I moved to Yokohama, which is next to Tokyo. And big city. I still remember, even when I was 6 or 7, I still remember, food is not good as, where I grew up. Yeah. But, still, there are so many food culture where I grew up. So But anyway, so I'm a food person, and my parents are all the same.
Yeah. Good.
Always talking about the food, where to buy beef, where to buy pork. They have a best co-op. They have a best farms. So my father literally wakes up like at 5 a.m. to go to a market to pick up the freshest meat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's a dedication.
Yeah.
We're not, it's just, we love it. It's just, I always call that, it's like I have a food god somewhere around always. It's just like always giving me blessings wherever I go.
Yeah.
And then back to the story, we already like some of our friends told us that you should visit Julia's local. And I was like, where? Round Top. Where? And
Middle of nowhere, conveniently.
Yeah.
and
Definitely nowhere.
yeah, and then when we visited here, and the food got served.
I think you had pork belly.
Yes.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah. That's right. You made a big deal about it. Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
holding the piece of pork in the air. I still remember. Yeah,
I
yes.
remember that,
And
yeah.
you're like,
What is this?
what is this? Yeah, ever since I'm just a huge fan of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's wow. You have no idea what it feels like for a chef to hear words like this. It's pretty, yeah, meaningful. You know,
Oh,
it's good. Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then we had a fabulous birthday party right next to your cooking last October.
Okay. Yeah.
That was another special moment because my sister is basically same like me,
Okay.
Obsessed.
obsessed,
Obsessed.
food obsessed.
Okay. I'm better now. It's getting very emotional too.
Oh, no, but
That's good.
that's how I've been feeling.
Okay, now what? Now what do we do?
I don't know. What's next?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Don't want to knock the table. Okay.
So I just want to know about your like a spirit. Why? What do you think? What kind of element makes me or like other customers feel that way? What do you think? What's so special? What's the secret ingredients here?
Well, I think maybe we could start with the why are we even doing this?
Oh yeah,
That would be a good place to
great.
start.
Sure.
So, from my point of view, I really love Henning's cooking, his food philosophy, and his sense of creating space and a place, a sense of place. And we had an opportunity to do that in our town. Henning had another restaurant for 12 years called Henning's Local, which I went to many times. And I just thought if we could have something this special in our own backyard, I wanted to do that. It was never an ambition or a plan, but we had two things that just kind of happened at the same time. One was this building became available right down the road from where we live for sale. It had been a bakery for 60 years and it had a great history and a great reputation, but it was sort of ending its lifespan. But the building itself is right in the center of this tiny little hamlet called Round Top. And it is a really special place. We're nestled in a very rural area between really the farms of the Hudson Valley and the mountains of the Catskills. But more than that, we could just walk to work from our house. And then the second thing is we are so fortunate to live across the street from someone who's got 20 acres of flat property for the most part. And I knew his grandfather. I moved to Round Top in the late 90s, and I knew his grandfather, who originally had lived in this house, and he was a gentleman farmer, and he had been in this house. He was like a third generation owner of this home, and it was so special and so sweet. And after he passed away, his grandson, our neighbor, he's like our little brother, JD, allowed us to start growing a small garden on his property, really where his grandpa had a little garden. And then it just grew and literally grew, but we expanded and we created more space. We helped get rid of dead trees, and now we've got this amazing 1 acre garden that feeds the restaurant. So this is sort of the building and the garden sort of happen simultaneously. So even though the restaurant's only been open for 2 years, we renovated this building over a course of 4 years ourselves, Henning and I, but we started the garden at the same time. So we're deeply into what we're doing. And when I say we, it's not me. It's Henning and our gardener, Daniel. We can talk about him a little bit later, too. But it's really the combination of those things to create this sense of place. It's where we live. It's the community that we live in. And we can do it right here. If we were to say wanting to open a restaurant in Catskill or Hudson, a turnkey place, we wouldn't do it. It's just not really what we wanted to do. What we wanted to do was like create something where we live.
And community.
Yes, and hope that people would find us or come to us. It really is destination dining. Because we really are in the middle of, we talk about it a lot, we're sort of in the middle of nowhere, but we're conveniently around everything. We're near the Hudson River, we're near Woodstock, we're near Catskill, Athens, Hunter, Tannersville, Wyndham. We're near all these pockets of great and pretty populated communities.
Yes.
So my favorite thing about the restaurant, besides Henning's food, of course, are really the people who come here and the people we get to serve. And I have a great honor of serving his food to people I didn't know. You know, people I didn't know. I've lived here forever, and it was because of opening Julia's Local that I got to meet all of these people who live here. I would not have known them otherwise. So that's, and every single day I keep meeting new people who come here, and it's just filled with surprises and gives us so much joy. And we get to know people in an environment that hopefully makes people really happy. And it's like, hopefully you can escape a little by coming to this restaurant and have a couple of hours away from the rest of the world and have a little bit of magic, maybe, around a table.
Like a sanctuary.
A little bit, yeah, just for a couple hours out of the day, or out of your week, or out of your month, to just like spend time with people you want to spend time with around food and drinks.
The good drinks. Oh
Yes.
my God.
Around drinks.
And good company, you know. It's a whole package. It's the whole. I mean, the food is good.
The food is the star.
The food is the star.
Food is a star.
Mother Nature's the star. We always start there. Mother Nature
Yeah.
is the star,
That's
and we're
true.
just the vehicle.
Yeah,
Oh,
you took that right away.
I did. I stole it from Henning.
oh really?
But it's a full experience, like you said, destination only. You know, there is. You know, you must get in your car and go there because you know what you're doing, and from the build up, from making a reservation to traveling here, to experience the food and the atmosphere and the art and the nature, just the trip coming here. You know, it's a whole. We're on Heart's Content Road. I mean, it doesn't get better than that in terms of a name for a road, but. Yeah, and it's a through and through full dining experience. You eat every 6 hours something, you know, or every day. But you know, it can be a well, like you said, a revelation. But it's not that. It's a very good meal, a good sensory experience that you know, you can afford yourself once in a while, you know, which makes it special. So that's
And we did
pretty much what we're trying to create.
Yeah, and we were working on the renovation of this building, which was built, from what we understand, the original house was built in the late 1800s.
Whoa.
And then really what you see is more modernized and what was added on there. This used to be grass, not a parking lot. The house across the street used to be the little general store. It's now a house.
Oh my
But
God.
we are right next door to the old schoolhouse, which still has the bell on top. We're next to the fire station and around the corner from a church and the post office. So we're in the heart of Round Top. That's it. That was it. That still is it. But my understanding was the little gas station, the little general store was like the candy store too. So all the kids would go down and get their candy. But when we were inspired by the fact that this building was originally a house, and when it was a bakery, Mr. Hartman, who started Hartman's Coffee House, had emigrated from Austria and started baking in his house, opened a little shop, lived upstairs with his wife and his son.
Raised his family here.
We were so fortunate to meet his son, who's
wow.
still alive. He's not that old, actually, but
Well, he's 70, so.
probably in his 70s. He grew up here upstairs. In his bedroom was the room that's now my little office.
Oh.
And he was so generous in contacting me. He's since moved away from Round Top. When I bought the building, to come and share what it was like growing up here and being in this space.
Yep.
Our little bar that we created used to be their little, he called it a parlor. I think they were quite formal when they would welcome guests in from, to entertain. And then the private dining room that we have, we call it a private dining room. It's just another room. It just happens to be sort of on its own. It's off of Henning's cooking kitchen. And that was originally their own kitchen. It was really the heart of
really?
their home.
That little room, yeah.
That sweet little room was originally their kitchen.
Wow.
And then over time, the building was added on. They had, what we can surmise is maybe like a front deck. You can see this is originally this was the outside of their building. That's the original Dutch door. And then it got added on sort of in the back.
This is basically a porch we're sitting on right now. That was wrapped around the whole, like it was added on to the house.
Yeah.
That's the original house right there.
That's amazing.
I know. So he was originally baking in where the kitchen is, and then added on as it became a more full commercial bakery. Not just making traditional like German cookies and stolons, but everyone's birthday cakes, everyone's wedding cake, everyone's cakes and cookies. And then over time, another baker took it over named Dieter. I remember the Dieter days. And it was just full on German bakery.
Wow.
But you could also come and have coffee and tea and lunch and breakfast. And then
Souvenirs.
Yeah, and Dieter, I think, raised 5 kids upstairs.
Oh my God.
And we have become friendly with his stepdaughter, Mitzi, who still lives in the area in Catskill, and she eats here a lot. So she told us what it was like growing up here as well. And then finally, the woman that I bought the bakery from, named Diane, transitioned with Dieter, and Dieter really taught her and helped her and stayed with her as she took over the bakery.
Wow.
She was here for almost like 17 years, I think. And we still know her. She lives down the street. We love having her as a friend. So, and I had come here on and off for 20 years. And I sat right there. That was my little spot. Where we're sitting now is an old vintage cake case that we gave to friends of ours who have a little wine shop for all their little cheeses and charcuteries. But what Henning and I wanted to do in renovating the building was to bring it back to a feeling of being at home.
Yes.
And I think half of the stuff, or most of the stuff in this place is actually from my house. So there's nothing left in my house, but every little detail, every little piece of pottery, every little thing.
This is your kitchen table.
Well, we don't have a kitchen table right now at home. This used to be our side table, and holding up the record player right now in our bedroom. Now we have nothing. But so we don't spend any time at home anymore. We're either in the garden or here, so it's fine. But everything kind of came from my house or was influenced by an idea of having a domestic space for people to come and feel like not feel like you're in someone's house, but feel like you're in that kind of feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I noticed we become extra chatty here, actually, because we
really?
feel comfortable.
Interesting.
That's
Interesting.
again, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
That's what we need it to be.
But it's pretty cozy, and we change it all the time too. It's like we've designed it, and Henning built the tables in a way that it can also be a flexible space.
Whoa.
We've designed the tables so the tables can all be pushed together for a long, skinny dinner party. We can move things around. If there's a big family or kids over there, we can make that its own space for the evening, and things change. And also, I just love architecture and design and objects, and I find meaning in objects, and all these things are so personal. I have things we use vintage plates from my grandmother, from my brother's wife's grandmother. We have silverware from my grandmother. We've got little things from my grandpa around, but it's just personal to me. I just like looking at it. It means something to me, and I'm happy to share it. If someone knows the story or asks about it, I'm happy to talk about it, but otherwise it's mostly for me. I just like to look at it, and these are all my friends. And then I've incorporated my own art collection from my previous life. I had the great opportunity of working with contemporary artists, so a lot of the art that's here brings back memories or is part of my own history. And it really is for me to enjoy. If other people like it too, that's great, but it's really my friends to keep me company during the day and night. And happy to show them off a little bit too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you want to talk about the farm before we just move around? Because I remember, by the way, they have the best dinner party for the community. And then first one we attended was the JD's.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, when we did the dinner party
we
in honor of JD.
That's right. He was the special guest.
He was our special guest.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
We wanted to celebrate. He's as
you
much,
guys came for that dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
He's as much a part of Julia's Local as we are. Without his generosity and basically lending us his property, it would not be the same restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's really all because of him. The garden is the most important part of the project of the restaurant. It is the thing. And Henning can talk more about it because
The garden.
I'll just say one thing because I talk too much. Is Henning's been a chef for close to 40 years, and there's the opportunity to learn and create what he's doing with fresh ingredients that are right from our own backyard. And I just know how excited Henning gets every morning when we're just talking about what's happening in the garden and what we can make with the garden and all the things that he's learning, being a farmer.
Being a farmer, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a natural extension of my career, if you want to call it that. It's as a chef, there's a lot of repetition work and a lot of run-of-the-mill type of labor goes into it. And a natural extension to keep my my inspiration going. After 40 years in kitchens, it's a long time. I've done other things in between here and there, but cooking has always been a thing. I started as a 17-year-old boy in Norway a long time ago. So I feel like it's a natural extension to to go deeper, submerge myself more in the products that I use. It doesn't come off a truck, or I enjoy going to markets and things like that. Cost is an issue. We had an opportunity to start something. This was during the COVID years. That's why we broke ground so early during renovation. We talked loosely about it. The renovation of this place. We talked loosely about we should grow some food. We had a little raised bed garden set up at home, but it has limitations for size. And so we started talking about it loosely, and it expanded as soon as JD it got involved. And he was like, feel free to, he wanted somebody to carry on. He doesn't have time to work in his grandpa's little plot. So I was like, he would love to see somebody use it. And he felt a little something about it should be used for something, like continued, because of his grandfather. And and then it expanded naturally, and we had time during COVID to deal with this. During renovation, we did a little pop-up in this space. We sold some, I can't remember what, but it was cookies and things, and we did some frozen foods. And
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
yeah, hang on.
We did.
Yeah, hang on. So and then during one of these pop-ups we did here, this guy comes in. I didn't meet him. She did. With a kid on his shoulder, and he had just moved to the area. You talked to him a little bit. His name was Daniel Hartquist, and young guy, 2 little children, came in just to look around because he had just moved here to Perling, right, the next little town over. And long story short, we hired him on the spot. He said it was a gardener or a farm worker. Farm hand, really, right? You know, his.
He was working on 2 organic farms in Columbia County.
In Columbia County, and you know, his Instagram handle is Tractor Dan. So anyway, so we hired him on the spot. Yeah, it doesn't get better, you know. It's like, do you want to? We are starting up the garden. We didn't, you know. I don't know if JD was in on the plan just yet.
No,
but,
we thought we would start the garden maybe 5 years after opening the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
And then because of Tractor Dan, aka
hired him
Dan,
on the spot. We haven't put a shovel in the ground yet. It was literally. So we just went for it. I started setting up fences, and we started digging. We hired a guy to come and do some tilling and some stuff, and we just started there. Planted asparagus right away. So these are, you know, we're on a second, third batch of asparagus seeding now. You know, so this is what, 5 years ago now? 3, 4?
I think 5. The asparagus takes 3 years to grow, so we're on batch 2.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But Daniel, as I've said about JD, there would be no Julia's Logo without him. We had a dinner party in his honor too.
Yeah.
We did.
Wow.
But he's like, he's like celebrity sighting now down at Hannaford, or when people are at the gas station, they've seen Tractor Dan. He does. He's amazing. His knowledge is so deep.
Wow.
He's taught us, or again, Henning. I can't only speak for. I can't speak for myself because I don't spend that much time in the garden.
It's been a natural extension of all his knowledge, the things I want to learn about, the things you think about, like all the vegetables that I have used over the years, and like it's not so much a cost. It's like it doesn't matter so much to me what it costs to buy vegetables, but the deeper connection with the food and the earth, get dirty, you know, all of those kind of things, and flooding and rain and sun and bugs and insects and
Animals, bunnies, groundhogs.
Hunting rabbit. I never knew I was able to, but I've shot a few. You know.
Oh wow, the garden.
Oh yeah.
The farm.
So I mean, you kind of.
You
don't have to, but you kind of should.
Take care of the garden.
But the deeper, like for me professionally as a chef, like the deeper understanding and the appreciation and connection with the produce that I use has been very meaningful to me.
Wow.
In my natural progression of my craft.
Interesting.
It's a craft, you know. It's not art. It's a craft.
But there's things that we can do. Like, of course, we're planting. Oh, how many tomato plants do we do? There's like hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes. But, you know, Henning might get up in the morning and Daniel will be in the garden, harvest a little something. Maybe it's enough to make 5 salads, but then we'll make 5 salads that night of that particular green.
Yeah.
And that's what is so amazing, is we don't know what the menu is until, like, they've spent time in the garden. We have the basic core ideas, of course, but
proteins are pretty steady, pretty reliable. But you know, when it comes to vegetables and what will, you know, complement what and how to use it, and the abundance of it, sometimes you get a flush of peppers, then you gotta get creative, yeah. Or you have to, like, we need to process all of that, and you know, and it will reflect itself on the menu, and in sauces, dressings, and then we try to preserve as much as possible in freezing and things like that. And the whole production schedule around it, cleaning and washing and processing, blanching, freezing,
Pickling.
pickling, fermenting, and all these preservation methods. So we get to use a wide range of methods, and and then it will reflect on the menu throughout the season. And my dream, that's like baby steps, is to provide the restaurant with full-on. We don't have enough space to grow as many potatoes as I use. Should I stop using potatoes? I can't. I'm Norwegian. It's just a thing.
Yeah, we need
do.
potatoes.
We eat potatoes. So I buy those, But if I can be self-sufficient as much as possible through the garden, that's one of the goals that I'm working on now. So, like the learning curve about like how much to grow of what. It takes a couple of years to figure that out. So,
for sure.
So, like for me, it's fulfilling, and I still have kale from last year that I'm using today in the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah. So that we overproduce because the new plants this year are already this big. So, so I got to find the right balance so I can transition into the fresh stuff as soon as that's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Each year we're learning. We produce too much. We produce too little. What if we did this? Everyone liked that. We should do that. Like last year, we had an abundance of those small purple eggplants.
Yeah.
We were just talking about it this morning. The little we were like, what are we going to do with this? We thought we would make
you had it, didn't you?
And then we made this eggplant parmesan. And now I said to Henning this morning, are we growing more? Are we going to have more? It became so popular. We just thought, we'll just make it. And then it became probably our most popular dish in the course of, because the lifespan's only a month.
Already?
Yeah.
So, yes, I had it.
I think you did, yeah.
It was so good. So that was the thing.
With our fresh tomato sauce from the tomatoes from the garden.
So that eggplant parmesan, you say it's like, it's very unique. So I was like, whatever. It's like, I trust you guys.
But you think about eggplant parmesan like slathered in cheese and cooked to bits. This was all about the eggplant is the star. The thing tells you what the story is.
It hit me so hard. It's so hard. That's the thing. That was the thing. When you served me, put the eggplant parmesan in front of me, I really tried not to cry. I just felt something so deep.
It's the vegetable talking to you.
It's
so beautiful.
And
that purple color.
I know.
And these guys would just harvest it a couple hours before you ate it.
That's the thing. So it's like a first food I ate in this restaurant was a carrot. Like a raw carrot in that
on the
snack stand. I call it a snack stand, and it's a snack for a rabbit, but it's all raw vegetables picked that afternoon from the garden. So
that was the first thing you tasted in here. That's cool. I like that.
And that's the thing. I was like, what is this carrot? I'm eating carrot, but it's not carrot. It's something else, but it's a carrot. So that's why. So I just like now how you explain to me about the connection with all the earth, the bug, and the weather, and people who's been cultivating this land. Now I understand because I'm from Japan, and then this my religion called Shinto. Before we eat, we just say itadakimasu. We just thanking every single element, the sunlight, bug, the seed, ancestors, to bring all the fruit together for us this moment.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So, and when you told me about the story, everything made sense to me. No wonder
good.
This food.
I thought it was rambling, but yeah, okay.
It made sense. Everything made sense to me. It's like why I love this restaurant.
But for the people who connect with it, they connect with it very deeply. And we say things like they care about Daniel. They care about Daniel who's on his hands and knees in the garden planting from seed. Every little thing is handpicked. You know, it's like this, I think people get that. You don't have to talk about it. They get it when they eat it.
Yeah.
And then they ask about it. And they're like, oh, that's part of the story. But should we talk about it more? Probably, but I think it speaks for itself. Yeah. But you can tell when people are excited about it. They want to know about the garden. It's always funny when people assume the garden's behind the building, and I'm like, where? There's no sunlight back there. It's full of trees. It's a forest.
I checked it.
It's not there, and it's not in the parking lot. And we invite people all the time to just, you can drive past it. It's on a public road. Yeah. You can't miss it. So hopefully we'll be able to do some garden tours this summer with people who are very dedicated and loyal to what we're doing. We want to start doing dinners in the garden, or at least cocktails in the garden, or tours of the garden, and just get a sense of what we're doing. Harvest things with the people who eat here too, and have them enjoy it as much as we do.
When the heirloom tomatoes becomes ripe sometime in the end of June or middle of in July, and we leave it hanging on the plant until it's ripe and is ready, and it's warm from the sun in the morning and it's still warm, and that's actually how we serve it. We just pick it from up there, take it down here, slice it, and serve it. A couple of drops of olive oil and a little bit of salt. I never knew. I've served tomatoes my whole life. I never knew. Of course I knew, but I mean, it's just to be able to have that luxury of sharing that with people. It blew my mind first when I started realizing what we're actually doing. Like it's I've served good food in many places, my whole life. But like being able to do it that way, that instant, and that at when the fruit is at its peak, and you get to put it on a plate and set it in front of someone, it's no better feeling. That's 100%.
And I would say that works in tandem with what we're doing in serving trout from Beaverkill Trout Hatchery. Oh. Yeah. Henning can talk about that. That's the other star of our menu.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Well, the native trout, there's a hatchery up in Livingston Manor. I've been working with that hatchery for almost 15 years now. Ooh. I walked onto their property there. They deal mostly with stocking rivers and streams and lakes for people, and ponds and fishing clubs and things like that. So they bring the fish out and they set it in the streams and set it stocking. And then I wanted to know if they ever dealt with restaurants. I said, well, we used to, we don't do anymore, because of, inconsistent payments and things like that, not serious people. It's like, I will come every day with cash, bring me the freshest fish possible. So they have rainbow trout and brook trout and brown trout, different sizes. They have this hand-dug ponds where the different size fish lives, and they feed them, and they hatch them from it. They get eggs from somewhere, but they do the whole process up there. Spring-fed, cleanest water you can find in the Catskills. And I started working with them then, and now today it's a quarter of their business is restaurants that are catching on. And there's a lot of not a lot of trout being served around the Catskills for unknown reasons, but that has improved. I like to think that I had a part in that. So I've been using.
Oh, I was going to say, but talk about how we serve it. It's like it's in parallel to the farm.
Oh yeah, I mean, what do you mean?
We can serve it raw because we pick it up and it's still in the water.
I insist on fresh food, and that's ingrained in me. It's like so we make sure to go and get fresh fish as often as possible. It's almost a 3-hour drive to back and forth, like a round trip. And so when we pick it up and it's just killed that morning, and we serve it on a plate a few hours later. So we serve it as a sashimi or as a tartare, and then we also have a couple of entrees that we cook with it, and we keep it fresh like that, you know. So that's like there's nothing else like it. It's just I like to say my fish is fresher than Nobu.
Nobu, yeah.
Because
R.I.P. Nobu.
What's that? Oh, yeah, they're gone. But you know, my fish has been swimming like a few hours ago.
Just like a vegetables.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
they're
not been on an
staying
airplane. It hasn't been, you know,
frozen.
In
in a truck covered in ice. And, you know, it's just fresh out the water. You know?
By the way, I also attended trout party. I can't remember. It's like a trout main dinner party.
Well, we did it 3 ways.
Yeah.
We did our trout trifecta.
Trout trifecta. That's right.
It's actually one of our guests, Steve, who named it that.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, it's a trout trifecta. 3 different types of trout, served 3 different types of ways as the entree, but also leading up to the entree course was trout all different kinds of ways.
We had sashimi on that
pickled and
plate
sashimi
there, right?
and
That's right.
tartare and all sorts of ways. But the
The
trout,
clean, pure, the texture when it's that fresh, I'm like, I don't know. It's just, can't beat it. You know?
But the trout hatchery has been doing this they're into 6 generations. It's a family-run hatchery.
Oh my gosh.
So we deal with the matriarch, Sherry Shaver, 5th generation. I think that's right.
Yeah.
So what I find so amazing about Henning and Sherry, and just how deeply everyone's into their thing. Sherry and her trout.
She's the real deal.
Yeah, just like the deep knowledge of the one thing that they're doing and just doing it really, really, really well. We're really inspired by Jim Leahy, the founder of Sullivan Street Bakery. We have a bread named in his honor. It's called Jim Bread. And it's that very famous, the recipe he really made famous for this no-knead sourdough bread that he was really made famous actually by Mark Bittman of the New York Times, wrote about it like almost 30 years ago. So Jim Leahy has 25 years ago, right, because his cookbook is celebrating its 25th year.
That's right.
Wow.
But I read his cookbook, and he was a young artist, actually. He was an art student, and he went to Italy to travel and learn about food and bread. But what he wrote about in his cookbook was how each little village had the 1 or 2 breads that they did really well, and that's all they did. I mean, not literally, but like he just found these little pockets of places that it was like focaccia here and this one here and that one here. And I love that idea of like going deep, deep, deep into like the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you do and just do them over and over and over and over and over again.
Those kind of things have roots in like the closeness of like which wheat grows best in this area, and therefore this is the product that we use. They don't ship in grain from elsewhere to make it
The thing.
They don't eat polenta in I don't remember where in Italy they grow corn, and you know, I suppose south, but
Just rooted their culture.
Yeah.
And
The connection
land.
to the ingredient, the connection to
they
what
grow
grows.
wheat in one area, so they're highly regional, is what he's talking about in his book. And
Right.
the wheat is softer in certain areas, and hard wheat, winter wheat. Like you can nerd out on it all day long. You know? But he found a product that a type, a style of bread that he appreciated most, brought it home with him, tried to recollect the feelings around it, kind of similar to what probably how you feel about food is how he talks as well, you know.
But Henning used to source at his other restaurant breads from other bakeries, like third parties.
Sure.
And it was sort of during COVID, like everyone was baking bread. Everyone was making cocktails. So Henning started baking bread himself during COVID and got really into it. So now we bake all of our own. We have different breads that we serve that have different connections to Henning's history, connection to Jim Leahy. And we bake all of the different kinds of bread in-house ourselves also every day and every week. So that's another element that just comes from like just living life. You know, things happen and circumstances happen and you have time to learn how to make bread. You think as a chef, well, you must know how to do everything. But you look, there's only so much that you can do over
I think
time.
most of the things, it's like, for me, it's like a natural progression or extension of like my knowledge and my, how, you know, it falls into place of like how I would like to see things done, you know, like why wouldn't you serve a sun-warmed tomato? You know? Like, you know, you have an opportunity, like this is how it's going to be. I've never served tomatoes any other, you know, and I haven't purchased a tomato in years now, and that makes me happy. I just don't serve tomatoes. I don't know where it's been or who's, you know, in.
Same thing, when you have strawberries on our menu, they're for a couple of weeks and that's it. You won't see a strawberry here in December.
That's right.
So sometimes, obviously our menu changes as the garden evolves. Summer is
Abundance.
incredible. There's so much abundance, but we have to think creatively throughout the winter season, what can grow in the greenhouse throughout the winter greens that we serve. And of course the menu is going to evolve and look different seasonally. We're not going to ship in avocados just because.
Make a guac for them.
No, I have
Avocado toast. You must
And I
have.
have this avocado guy who calls me every week and doesn't understand why I don't want his avocados. But I'm like, there's such a disconnection, you know.
I see. Yep. I know. It's so funny because I was buying something from farmers market, during the winter time, and some guy just came in next to me and said, "Hey, do you have a tomatoes?" And they start fighting.
I hope not.
Start fighting.
Yeah.
And I just left because like, oh no, this is.
But it's like the culture we grew up with. At least I grew up with in the 70s and 80s, and industrial farming and just transportation systems and living in the suburbs, and you can get whatever you want whenever you want,
Anytime.
any time of year. And then of course, like living in New York City, it's like that on steroids, just because of the population, and then just the supply and demand and what people want and expect.
You can buy blueberries from New Zealand in a bodega, in a you know,
middle of winter.
cigarette shop in the in January. Like that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's really.
We have people, it's very sweet, people who do eat here throughout the year, and they come in December, and they're so confused because we don't have the snack stand, our famous snack stand. But I explained, but we don't have carrots and radishes and all these, because it's not summer. And it's like, you see they're thinking about it, and they still, it takes time to wrap
but
your
I
head
really
around that. But I
wanted
really
that, yeah.
wanted it. I came in for that, but it's December. We don't have anything that's not a root vegetable, or so we're serving pickled things now. We're serving things that we've preserved, and
I have a shitload of preserved daikon, if you can have that.
oh, we have to give you some before you leave today. We have so much. Take a big jar of it home. It's so delicious.
Like daikon?
Daikon.
Yeah.
Daikon
Yeah,
kimchi.
we made a
Daikon kimchi?
And we have so much of it.
Oh my god, because I'm gonna have an interview with you guys today. I usually eat kimchi every morning, but I didn't eat it this morning because it gets stinky. Haha.
It's about to,
Go home and
it's about to happen.
stink up the
As
place. So much. There's a friend of ours, now has become a friend, who has eaten here throughout the year. We just celebrated his birthday here, and he just loves the daikon so much. We're like, here, just take a gallon home. We have so much, so we can. Also,
but the reason for that, I have a surplus of it, and I preserve the whole thing as kimchi, and but we use because the farm is so young, we plant daikons to break up the ground.
Oh right.
Really? That's
Because
how
they go
it happened?
so deep.
Yes.
And then when you know, they bust up the soil for you. You know,
Wow.
more than I can do with a tiller or a plow, or it helps the soil.
Wow, so that's a natural, like, I don't know how
It's
to
like
say
a
it.
garden assistance.
Yeah, so Daniel was like, "You're gonna have a lot of daikon." I was like, "Yeah, great, yeah, bring it." So now I'm like, have so much, but it has a purpose because it's doing the thing. You know?
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's working for us in the soil. Ooh,
It's going to help my carrots next year go deeper, get bigger, blah blah blah. You know, the whole cycle of things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and then there's someone who eats here named Mike and Joe, and they have a horse farm in Greene County. and they just
They have 2 horses.
I know, but it's
It's not a horse farm.
they have a very nice property,
And
100 acres
then
or something.
they're only to look at. But go ahead.
They have beautiful. Okay, so they have beautiful horses, and
They do.
they have lots of equipment to move things around. So they've been starting from a couple of years. I guess they've got this like
Horse manure.
horse manure, which is the best organic mulch, like to add to our mulch in our garden.
Really?
Yeah, so they
It's our fertilizer, yeah.
that was their gift to us. Is I don't know how many tons of it that we got, but
We've still got some more.
we have
How do
more.
you bring it? Just put it on back of the truck?
Henning has
I have a trailer.
a
that,
trailer
you know, I got
for
the-
his
I got the-
tractor and other farming equipment, and that thing comes in really handy when you need to move 15 tons of horse shit.
Wow.
So that's our friends who, well, again, they become friends by eating here. We've got to know them and meet them. They're great people.
Yep.
And we went to their solstice party. They invited us. It was very sweet. And their parting gift to anyone who went to the solstice party was a bag of horse manure. And kind of no one
We
wanted it.
call it compost.
Compost. It was compost. So they have this beautiful, beautiful dark brown compost. And that was their, their party favor, and no one wanted it except for us. And so we were like, really? You can take this? And they said, please, we have so much. Come and get it. If you can come and get it, you can have it all. So Henning made many trips back and forth, back and forth. So they were in here the other night. They sat right there and enjoyed the fruits of their labor and their horse farm.
Wow.
Yeah, so even they're part of our...
So now they get
story
to
too.
enjoy their horses in both ends. You know? What?
Stop it.
They're
But
not going to
anyway.
hear this, are they?
So that's part of,
No,
yeah. So
it's great.
like,
No, that's a collab like between JD, the horse, the fertilizer, what
But the
else? Who
compost,
else
they
can we
really,
mention?
they were so excited that we could use it. They wanted someone to
Oh, yeah.
use it. And we're using it, and it's really helping our garden.
Yeah, definitely.
More I learn about you and this restaurant, it's like I feel like in the part of the whole like
You are a huge
You
part
are a
of
part of
it.
it.
circle of
You're a
the
big
whole
part of it.
Yeah.
Everyone who eats here, and especially the people who return, are part of our whole little world. And I do say, like, I'm in my own little bubble here. It's like our footprint's really small. We go from the farm to this building, this restaurant, and to Beaver Kill Trout Hatchery. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
That's our little circle, and that's what we're doing. And it's having every time I open the door to welcome our guests, and they're just returning, and you get to know them. We've only been open 2 years. We've had people have babies, who are now we're meeting the babies. We've had people get married. We've
It's such a short amount of time.
such a short amount. We've had people who have honored like a loved one who has passed by coming here to have their family dinner, just as you would a birthday party or an anniversary or Mother's Day or Father's Day. And I hope that we can create a safe place where people can, again, just like escape and have time with their family, but make it special.
Yeah.
And
I like the idea that we're creating memories for, a part of the memory creation that people are doing, and we can be a small part of that, like, the food you had, the environment you were in, the people around you.
There's a wonderful brother and sister who eat here, and they used to bring their 90-year-old father, who was Norwegian, and
Danish.
Danish, and I'm sorry.
Same.
I'm sorry. And they brought him here for his 91st birthday, and he died a few months later, and then the brother and sister came to have dinner.
Just to commemorate,
In
that
his
was sweet.
honor.
That was sweet. They had their own little wake, I guess.
Yeah.
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 Just the two of
Their
them.
dad would bring me little tiny shots of
Aquavit.
Oh wow.
little Scandinavian treats.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he came, he brought me a little bottle. And so when they came to honor their father, it's his favorite restaurant, they brought me the original box where the little aquavits had been. So it was
Oh my god.
working its way through its box. So he had given me
One by one.
half of them. So it was
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah.
Right. Yeah,
So they
yeah.
brought me the box
That's right.
with the other half of the little bottles.
So there was a couple missing. So he had
The missing
picked
ones
out
I
the ones he
already
wanted
had
to give
because
to
he
Julia.
gave them to me,
Yeah.
and then the son and the daughter brought me the rest of the box.
Yeah. There was like a sample thing. Yeah.
Little-
Like little.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was kind
Yes.
of a cute story, wasn't it?
I know. That
Wow.
was very sweet.
Mm.
And they came from so far away. One of the things I do find really touching is we've become this kind of meeting place in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
People coming from Albany, meeting their friends from Woodstock.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really blown away by the people who come so far. There's a couple, Marge and Ed, they come, for a while it was like every Thursday, 5 o'clock. They come from about an hour away. She's 91 and still a practicing therapist. He's 94.
Yeah.
And they come almost every week
Religiously,
when the weather is
yeah,
good
yeah.
to eat Henning's trout, try a new dish. Usually Ed will try a new dish. They
Yeah.
get the same exact drink and they come at the same exact time. And I still can't believe, first of all, they're in their 90s driving an hour away. And we got to know them. We've learned about, their grandson just got accepted to Columbia University. The granddaughter goes to Barnard. You get to know them and she was sitting here the other day having dinner and she got the phone call from her grandson to say he got into university. And she was so excited.
Oh.
So we sent her home with an old fashioned because we don't want a 90-year-old drinking and driving. So we sent her little celebration old fashioned to drink it once she got back home. But we've got to know them over time, and the people who work here, they know Kelly now, and they know us and spend time here. And I'm always so honored, and I'm kind of always surprised and shocked that they just keep coming. They said they don't go anywhere else. This is what they do. It's their special time together.
Oh, yes.
And part of the drive is part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spending time together in the car, getting here, connecting after a week or two of maybe doing everyday life things, and then driving here is part of the whole activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful drive. I know where they live, over across the river.
Yeah.
So that's also part of our story too, and what gives us so much excitement when we look at who's coming in that night. We're just so excited to see them again. And see what's been going on in their lives.
It's meaningful, yeah. The people, the responses that we are getting for what we are putting forward, without any.
Just through word of mouth. It's kind of people telling their friends they ate
Yeah.
here, they liked it, they came. I'm so grateful when people tell me how they heard about us. It helps me because it just gives me a sense that we're not working in this vacuum.
Yeah.
And
But we get to make our things. Create our space, create the atmosphere, and we get to make our thing, and people respond by revisiting like you did.
and you brought your
do.
family, your sister.
Yeah. And it takes root and it takes form and it becomes I didn't have any special intentions but doing the thing. Everything happens organically, naturally, and seeing results of that and feeling the purpose in all of that is that's all it matters to me, at least.
It's also fun to put together the puzzle of who's friends with who. So when we were renovating the building, we started doing, really out of necessity, a home delivery service. So during COVID, during the renovation of the building, because of COVID, it put us behind by, honestly, 2 or 3 years. So we decided just to keep going and make a little bit of money. Henning made this real simple comfort food. So, and it was like COVID was in the winter. People were all stuck at home. So we were making chicken pot pies and soups and stews, and I would deliver it in my little car and drive all over the Catskills, mostly Greene County. And it was really, I just put it out in the universe, probably just on Instagram or something. And then one person told the next person they're friends with this person. So I got to learn, the Peter and Laura Siegel are friends with, Seth and Tracy from one town and this town and that town. You have these kind of groups of people, and you see how sort of far apart they are. And hopefully, I used to think, I hope they come together at Julia's Local to have dinner. And of course, it's happening. But it's got to, I got to meet. And I also thought, who's going to come to our restaurant in the middle of Round Top? Who's going to do it? Really? And then you see, Wyndham's not that far, or this town's not that far. This town's not that far. Who's got kids at home? Who's working from home? Who's a single parent? Who, this, that, and the other. So we got to kind of get a sense of, we felt confident that when we did open, there was already some people out there who knew about us. And they were excited for us to open. And they were very loyal to us already.
Yep.
They didn't know Henning yet. He wasn't driving the food around. He was making the food and renovating the building. Oh. And I was driving the food around, and because of COVID, I got to spend so much time with people, on 10 feet apart, on their front porch. Sometimes I was the only person they saw outside of their family, so I got to really get to know them quite intimately. And I weirdly have a special...
In a stressful time.
In a very stressful time.
Life.
I found it very...
therapeutic.
Meaningful and therapeutic, and it cured a lot of my anxiety. I was busy driving around, and then I would have 1 hour with Ruth and Stuart, 1 hour with this couple, and I got to meet people really on their own terms and what they were going through. So it's we're all in this weird space, and then had empathy for what they were going through. They had just gotten their kid in college, and now the kid is stuck at home, can't go, and just they lost their job. They had to do 2 jobs. They were doing more work because they were working from home. So we have had all of these experiences in getting to meet these people. It really helped me. It made me confident that they would come to the restaurant when we opened. Oh, yeah. So that was really exciting. We had Ruth and Stuart, our sort of first person who ever called us to order food here in the restaurant last night. They come all the time.
Came last night, yeah.
Yeah, they came last night, and we've gotten to know them. I've seen, because COVID was, it's now been 5 years. So, her kids were in high school. One has then gotten college. Now the other one has gotten older. He got engaged. He brought his fiance here for dinner. She's talking last night about the wedding planning. It's you become part of their lives.
And we did Stuart's 60th birthday party at his house.
Yes,
at their home.
Before we opened, and after COVID, they asked nicely if we would come and cook for his 60th in their kitchen, and we did. Wow. And that's when we had this kind of epiphany that we should do dinner parties in the restaurant to kick us off, to get us launched. Oh, wow. It was actually because of that dinner, and we had such a nice time. And then we were maybe we should do dinner parties to test the space, test the equipment, recruit staff, just get people who we already know from that home delivery to come in before we were a full-blown restaurant. So we did that for about 4 to 6 weeks when we first opened. Wow. And something even nicer that came out of that was that recently 2 couples were having dinner here, and I'm how do you guys know each other? Do you guys live next to each other in Catskill? Because I know you're both from Catskill. And they said, no, we met at one of your dinner parties, and now we're friends. Yeah. And you guys did that too. And that was also, these guys too. Yeah. Yeah, they met a bunch of people. Yeah, they met a bunch of people.
Right. But that you hang out with still?
Yes.
Get out.
Yeah, they're friends with Brie and Oscar. Yeah, at cooking class, who they met at the dinner party.
Oh yeah, I knew that. Right.
But it was it's Dan and Sydney who met those guys who were in the private dining room the other night.
That's right.
Yeah, who they met at a dinner party, and now they have dinner here together once a month.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's really that the dinner party is an eye-opening experience. Of course, a food, and that's the thing. That's a kind of a background on my this podcast too. Why? It's food. Bring the good. Has to be good. Yeah. Good food.
100%. 100%. That's what Henning always says. Even if we have a bad day and we're off, or I'm in a grumpy mood, which is often. Someone said it's not a rite of passage unless you get yelled at by me. I'm talking the guests, not my staff. I never yell at my staff. But I was yelling at someone because they couldn't have a cocktail they wanted or something. But it's true. And Yeah, what? I forget what this.
Oy,
I forgot where I was going. But Henning and I always say it doesn't matter because the food is always good.
Food is always good, and then it brings good people, good community. So
Yeah.
end up I became like Brina, Oscar,
Yeah.
and the Carl and the Fiona.
Yeah.
All those
Fiona,
Fiona.
yes.
We love
Yeah,
them.
maybe I take too long making a cocktail. I made a mistake making a cocktail. I have to make it over again. I made a mistake making a
Whatever,
cocktail last
yeah.
night, so I just drank it myself. And it was perfectly fine.
Party.
But I was like, I knew it was wrong because I got distracted by somebody, so I had to make it again. But then I had it myself. But, if we're so, oh my gosh, we're so busy, maybe we couldn't get the drinks out fast enough, or we made a mistake with seating someone at the wrong table. As Henning always says, it doesn't matter. It's just dinner, and the food is great, so it's all going to be fine.
Yep.
And we feel good about that. So everyone ends up having a great time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even if we're really hard on ourselves because we might have made a mistake and forgot to do something for somebody, forgot the bread basket, I don't know. But
Not me.
not you, ever. But some things happen. We forgot
Yeah.
to put something in the ordering system. We just forgot. I did it the other day. I just forgot someone's white wine. And I told them, well, it's okay. I can't fire myself. So
You know what? You
It's
guys
coming.
making me hungry even more.
Hungry.
So, Hungry Mari. By the way, this podcast is called a Hungry Mari because
I know. It's the best name.
So anyway, so maybe move on to the farm or whatever. But
Yes,
I
we
just
would love to
Wanna
give
see
you
the
a
garden?
We want to give
we
you a tour
want
of
to
the garden.
thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Be
having us.
First.
Thanks for thinking of us when
Thanks
you
for
wanted
thinking
to
of
make a
us.
podcast about food.
Oh my
But I
god.
will say, we have met so many people who have great stories to tell in food, in wine, in farming, in this community. So we're in such the bounty of people who are dedicated, I think, to food and hospitality living here. I feel it.
Cut.
But today, I really want a pizza. I just want to have pizza, Henning.
Today is pizza day.
Yeah.
Today is
Pizza
pizza
day.
day. We're tired and hungry. We want a
Okay.
pizza.
All right. Thank you so much.
Was that okay?
No, it's a great ending actually. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Exit Henning.
It's Henning, Chef Henning.
Because I